There are strategic plans to assassinate our leaders that are underway. And when I speak of strategic plans to assassinate leaders, I need to be precise so that my words can be understood. From the moment we talk about democracy, it is said that the AES countries must return to democracy. They must return to holding elections. What kind of democracy are we talking about? That question mark deserves to be raised, considering that from the 1960s to 2022, if I take the case of Burkina Faso, we have been governed by so-called Democrats who were brought in and installed by people sitting on the other side of the ocean. What has been the impact on the ground? Let me give a few examples. From 2022, that means from 1960 to 2022, that's 62 years. Compared to 2022 up to 2026, that's 4 years. In 4 years, here is what has been accomplished. When the call was made to the Burkinabe people to face the current situation in 2022, as I speak to you now, the people have reached into their own pockets and contributed 541.2 billion. The people who are said to be suffering have contributed 541.2 billion to deal with the current situation. That has never happened in our country before. So, when we talk about a suffering people, which people are we talking about? Second example I'll give, in the health sector. Even though we are in crisis at war, like our brother countries Niger and Mali, a decision was made. When you had kidney problems and needed treatment, you had to pay a deposit of 500,000. The head of state issued a decree and this 500,000 deposit was abolished. Isn't that a human right? Through the defense of human rights. Second example, at the community level. During a time of crisis, we funded 15 mobile clinics for all the regions of our country. People no longer have to travel to Ouagadougou for treatment during emergencies. In every region, there is a fully equipped clinic on site. There is no greater defense of human rights than that. A third example I will give is at the level of universal health insurance. This allows people, including those in the informal sector, to contribute 4,000 francs per year. And no matter which healthcare facility you go to, you are taken care of. Why, from 1960 until 2022, was this not done? Another example I will give. When we look at CT scans, if you have an accident right away and go to the hospital, you could die because they can't do a scan. The cost has been reduced from 50,000 to 25,000. That's a 50% reduction during wartime. But from 1960 to 2022, this was never done. Let me take, how should I put it, we have just launched the recruitment called Operation 1000 times 5. 1000 times 5 means that each year we will recruit 1,000 specialist doctors over 5 years. From 1960 to 2022, those who established their democracy. There, this was never done. Let me give another example. We have just opened the hospital, the largest hospital in our country on July 29, 2025, in Abobo Dulazo, in cooperation with China. And I tell you, Your Excellency, that in our country, since 1960, it was on July 29, 2025, in Tengango, that there was a first operation allowing for a kidney transplant in our country. When someone was sick, they would take a plane. It was on the other side that they would go to have it done. It's being done in Burkina, in a country that is at war. Another example I would add, there has been the construction of 920 CSPS from 2022 to 2026 in a country that is at war. On December 21st, 2025, or even up to what we have just observed, we took stock, and it amounts to this. 38 newly built health centers. In a country at war, I could name others as well. People say, but what are human rights? It's the right to life, isn't it? What I just mentioned is to allow people to live and be in good health. Another aspect is the issue of food. You can't ask someone to be healthy if they don't eat properly. From 1960 to 2022, nothing was done. From 2022 to 2026, despite the fact that we are at war, there has been mechanization and agricultural inputs. That means just for 2025, the state invested 104 billion CFA francs in agricultural mechanization and inputs. And what result did we get? That means 104 billion, which is more than in 2024 when we spent 77 billion. And that allowed us to reach 67,000 tons of cereals to feed the population. That's not it. The defense of human rights. I'll take another example regarding the development of lowlands. The development of lowlands to allow farmers, that is peasants, to be able to take care of them. We went from 5,000 hectares. Since the 1960s up to today, we have gone from 5,000 to 25,000 hectares in 2025. But this is a country at war. And still in the area of agriculture for plowing, the peasants who have land, we take the tractors, we go and plow it for them for free. And in 2025, we have done 58,000 hectares of land, plowed free of charge for the peasants. There is no greater defense of human rights than that. And when I take, for example, the armed forces, among the 11 agreements where it was said that we cannot purchase equipment elsewhere. If it's not from France, we can't train our soldiers elsewhere, unless it's in France. I inform you that from 2022 to 2025, we have independently formed around 20 rapid intervention battalions, all fully equipped with at least 500 soldiers per battalion. I won't say the exact number because the walls have ears. And since these are military matters, if I give the details, you could prepare yourselves and then come. I won't give everything, I'll just give an approximate figure. Whether it's less or more, you won't know. Second example, we have formed about 10 mobile police intervention unit groups. They're already deployed on the ground. We have set up gendarmerie units. Across the entire territory, nearly 10 mobile gendarmerie squadrons, they're still on the ground. The number of air bases from 1960 to 2022 was just 1. Today, we have 4 from 2022 to 2026. 4 air bases, that's it, but I'm giving an approximate number, not the exact total. Now, the volunteers for the defense of the homeland, who have been considered militias, myself, standing before you, I am a volunteer for the defense of the homeland. A volunteer for the defense of the homeland. So it's not just people picked up off the street that we've trained to become ministers. And all those who are volunteers for the defense of the homeland, on the ground, as time goes on, we take them directly into the army without training. Those who are not fit to join the army, we place them either in entrepreneurship, whether it's agriculture, carpentry, welding. This is what is being done in Burkina. So it is essential that we ask each other to take off our blinders, to better see reality. What we are saying, people say, yes, Burkina doesn't want democracy. We have never said that we don't want democracy. Democracy is a straitjacket that people want to force us to wear, and we will not accept it. If our grandparents were forced to wear it, we are saying no. And we have the necessary ability to say no. And even tomorrow, we will say no. Liberal democracy, whose principles are based on homosexuality, whose principles are based on marriage between 2 children, to their mother or to their father. That is over. In Africa and in Burkina, that will not happen. In our land, that will not happen. So from this point of view, democracy has its principles. We think we can violate the constitution, get ourselves elected 3 or 4 times, settle in, and nothing happens, even if 3,000 people are killed. We install whoever we want, and nothing happens. And someone comes to power by force of arms, supported by the people. There isn't even a drop of blood, and you think that person should go. But when it's 2 people who take my neighbor, just as an example, when you take power, not by force of arms, you say nothing, because what he does is what pleases you. And I take up arms. When I say I don't agree with you appointing my prime minister, I don't agree with you imposing the minister of defense on me. Or you start calling me a putschist, someone who is unacceptable, or you create all the conditions to be able to overthrow me. So that means 2 people who came to power by force, one of them, like him, does what you want. Yes, he's a good one. A good putschist. Well, I'm just saying, it's an example I'm giving. But now, since I refuse, you consider that, well, I'm not good. The neglected element, Mr. Minister, look at the issue of human rights. To be precise, why? I said that there is an assassination looming on the horizon. When you look at human rights in Burkina, first of all, the reports that are submitted to the UN. The reports that are submitted to the UN. And